It was called the prairie mentality. Early settlers must have seen something in the golden grasses and rushing waters of the Big Sioux River. What secrets did the land have? Or were there no secrets, just hope for a better life? There were no roads, only shanty sod houses that barely stood against the harsh winds and rain marked what life existed along the Great Falls. But they came. Eventually they all came, and it was the vision of one man that helped forge the makings of a great city. Wallace Dow. He's been described as a quiet man with few convictions, an apprentice and savvy businessman, an entrepreneur and inventor, a man who would become known as the Builder on the Prairie due to his outstanding number of impressive buildings, homes, and schools. He was responsible for the landscape of Sioux Falls and surrounding cities and towns during a time where vast prairie grasses as high as your shoulders sprung from virgin soils. Even though his structures have gone down in history, little is known about Wallace Dow, the architect. No streets bear his name, no subdivisions give credit to his claims.
Dow, in my view, has always been something of a myth. We hear a great deal about him, but no one seems to know anything about him in detail. Where did he come from? What was he like? What all were his projects? What were his peculiar skills and gifts? I don't know anyone who could offer that in any detail.
So little was known about Dow that when he passed away in 1911, a short obituary vaguely touched on his impact to Sioux Falls and even lacked accuracy. Dow passed away on July 5th, not July 8th, as was printed.
He was the most prolific architect of his time. He designed a lot of important buildings, many of which still stand, and I think probably more of his buildings stand than any other architect from that period.
He did a genre of architecture for Sioux Falls and did a quantity that has survived, where we have other architects since, but we have none before. So he would probably be the architectural godfather of Sioux Falls.
Well, it's a curse of our society. I think we often fail to recognize artists until long after they're gone. And now then we try to resurrect them and try and recapture what they were like.
Some would say recapturing Wallace Dow is easy. Just look around. From small schools to grand churches, ornate homes to functional public institutions, Dow is credited with over 156 structures spanning 3 states, some still standing, some torn down or moved, some waiting to be discovered.
I think you're left with a glimpse of another era when people unabashedly, unashamedly promoted community civic pride and education and populism. These people were so committed to Sundays with family, playing with their kids and whatnot, that I think I wouldn't be surprised to discover that Wallace Dow was one of these good citizens in the true sense, in the genuinely valuable sense.
The year was 1856, and what was to become Dakota Territory lay patiently waiting.
We keep hearing descriptions of the prairie of that time as being an ocean of grass, and it has been compared to the sea mainly because of the action of the wind on the tall grasses that grew here.
This was prairie. At some points, a man could stand on the saddle of a horse in order to see over the grass.